Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. I have some adorable little cards that I want to share with you that feature a new stamp set that will be coming out in January 2021. So, the stamp set is called Darling Donkeys, and it's one of the items that you can earn as part of Celebration. So, Celebration starts January 5th, and so does our new mini catalog. So, this is one of the sets that I was able to get early as a demonstrator. So, I'm going to show you some fun little cards with this today. So, good morning, everybody. So, these are the cards that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the step it up technique. So, what I basically did is I started with a basic or simple card design, and then I took this design and stepped it up to create two additional cards, one of which, I know you guys are going to love this, one of which is a fun fold card. So, of course, it's a Z fold card because that's my favorite fun fold, but look how adorable that turns out. So, I'm going to show you how to make these cards. So, we're going to start with the basic one first, and then I'll show you how to step it up to create these other two cards. So, good morning. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Carol. Kimberly. Hi, Linda. Hello, hello. All right. So, I am using, first, I'll tell you what colors I'm using. So, I'm using Cherry Cobbler and then Smoky Slate. Those are the two colors that I'm using for these cards. And then, so I'm using some of the pattern paper from the Neutrals and Regals pattern paper packs. Say that 10 times fast. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to start out with a piece of white cardstock, which is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And then I cut 3 different pieces of pattern paper that will go across the cardstock. So I'm using the front and the back. So the front and the back has the same design, whether I'm using the gray or the red. And so then I just cut these 3 pieces and I'm going to put them across the center of the card front here to create my background. So let me sneak these off because otherwise I'm going to get confused. All right, so these pieces are 3/4 inch wide by 4 inches. So I just decided that I would use some smaller pieces since actually I was playing around with scraps and decided this would be a really cool background. And then, one thing led to another and go from using up scraps to creating all kinds of fun little cards. So here I am. Okay. And then we'll add this other piece here on the bottom. So this is a great way to use up your scrap paper. So I know you have scrap paper just like I do. So you can cut them into little strips and then layer them together to create your background. So that is the background for our card. So I'm going to just go ahead and add this right away to my card front. All right, so there is the backdrop for the card. So this is the design that I'm going to carry over onto the other two cards, this basic design. And then I'm also going to be carrying over this focal point. So I'm going to show you, I did a little bit of coloring with some of the stamping blends. So I am going to show you, I got to grab some scrap paper here though. Hang on. So let's grab this little scrap piece of paper here. Yes, it has men's ties on it because I was busy stamping. Okay, so all I did was I'm using the Stitched So Sweetly die set, and I just cut out these little rectangular shapes to use as my focal point. And then I have, let's see, what do I have here? I have a variety of different color stamping blends. So I'm going to start by just kind of coloring in his facial features here. So I'm just using some ivory stamping blends. So we'll color in his nose, and then we'll color in his ears. So you can use any coloring tools you want. As you know, I just prefer these stamping blends. And then let's see, let's just color all of these little pieces first. So I'm just using some old olive to color in the little flower stem and leaves. And some cherry cobbler to color in the little rose. And then to color in the main part of the donkey, and I want to show you a little trick. Um, so if you like using stamping blends, I'll tell you before I show you the trick, I'll tell you that getting a color lifter is one of the best investments you can make if you like to use stamping blends. And I'll show you why in just a minute. So basically what I'm going to do is just use this darker shade, and I'm just going around to kind of the edges of this image. I'm adding, my darker color. And we'll add it to the tail, add a little bit to the legs, and then the little hooves. Okay. So then I'm going to take the light color and just kind of blend this a little bit here. And it's going to look a little strange, but don't worry. That's where the color lifter comes in, because it's going to help blend and shape those little lines that you can see right now. Or maybe you can't see them. I'm not sure if you can. I can see them. Okay. So the color lifter is this white pen here, marker. And basically what it does is exactly what it says. It lifts the color. So I actually just kind of run it around the edges of where where that dark shade and that light shade kind of meet up. And you can pull off some of the color. So it kind of blends it a little better. I mean, I've always used the light and dark shade together, but the color lifter just kind of blends it better. And then I just wipe it off. Whoops. Put the cap on, and that's it. See how cute he is? Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little tip on that. I have my other little darling donkeys colored already, so so you won't have to watch me do that again. All right, so now I'm going to, let's stamp a little greeting on here before I adhere this, just so I know where to place it. Whoops. Hopefully I got that on there straight. All right, so I'm just stamping my little greeting on. We're going to add some dimensionals here, and then I'm going to show you the next card. So you'll notice how with this particular card, I just kind of stamped the greeting in the background. I have my focal point here, which I can pop up. And by the way, you guys, you can use the designs I'm sharing with you, even though you may not have this adorable little stamp set yet, you can still use this card design with anything that you have on hand. So don't get too stuck on the fact that I'm showing you this adorable little donkey, because I'm sure you have a variety of different stamp sets or images that you can use to create this fun design. So, and of course you can use any pattern paper. So I'm just going to tie a little bow here. I have 2 pieces of twine that I'm tying together, and then we'll embellish this with the little bow, and I'll show you the next one. So I think I've told you before, I like to just use little glue dots right behind the knot on the bow, and that's how I adhere it to the card. And then I just trim this part down. Okay, and then I'll put some rhinestones on that later, but that gives you an idea of how to create this card. All right, so I'm going to put that one to the side. The next one that I'm going to show you is very similar to this because remember, we're going to step it up. So we're stepping this design up. So it really is the exact same design. The only difference is I'm putting some pattern paper in the background, and then I'm stepping up my little greeting here. So instead of just stamping it directly on the card, I kind of popped it up to give it a little more depth and dimension. So let me show you. We're going to start with the same cardstock base. So that's cherry cobbler. And then I'm just, instead of adding a white piece of cardstock for my background, I'm using a piece of the pattern paper. So this is a 5¼ by 4" piece of pattern paper. And then I'm using the same designs, except for instead of using the polka dot, I'm going to use this side, whatever you call this. I don't know what this is. Just a non-polka dot side. How's that? That's the technical term. Okay, so we'll add this little guy right across the center. And then we'll add the red ones around it. And so these pieces are the same size as the ones I just shared. So if you're just joining me, these little pieces that I'm adding are 3/4 inches by 4 inches. So they're 3/4 inches wide. And I also linked to my blog in the description with this video, so you can catch all of the measurements out of my blog too, if you missed them as I was going through. Okay, so there's the background. Now we're going to add our focal point, which is this adorable little image. And I already have him colored in, so you don't have to watch me do it again. Of course, I know you guys like to watch me do that. And then I just randomly, we're going to randomly add these little pieces. I got them stuck to my finger to our card. So this is just the sentiment or the greeting. I just took, where's the stamp set here? Here it is. I just took these images from the set and I stamped them um, on little scrap pieces of white paper and then just cut them out by hand. So you'll notice here that it says, "Hey there, friend," and one is in the gray and one is in the red. Well, I just stamped this image once in gray, once in red, and then just cut out the words that I wanted, in the various colors. So it's pretty easy to do. All right, we'll add the "Hey there, friend." And then the rest of this says, "You're the best." And then, of course, I have my little bow all ready to go. So we'll add that. And then you can trim that down and then add some rhinestones. So again, it's just another way to kind of change the look of the card. So let me bring back this other one. So it's the exact same design, same focal point, but I just changed the look of the card a little bit by doing something different with the greeting and then adding pattern paper in the background instead of white cardstock. Okay, so there's the first two. Now this last one, of course, this is my favorite. I mean, I like them all, but this one's my favorite simply because it's a fun fold card. So this is a Z fold card. And I used the same design across this card. So if you bring back the original design here, I used the exact same design. So I have this pattern paper running across the center there. And then I still have my focal point, but I added some additional cardstock, another piece of cardstock, and added that out. And you can see I popped up all of these images, both the greetings and these darling little donkeys. So let me show you how to make this one. So this one has a variety of different pieces. So I'll just kind of go through these with you. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can see. So we're going to start with the regular cardstock base. So this is, 5.5. This is 8.5. And I scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 inches. So the 4 1/4 inches makes your regular card, but that section that's 2 1/8, here's that score line. We can just fold that section onto itself to create this Z fold card. So that's what gives you the Z fold. Okay. So we're going to open this Z fold up and we're going to kind of start on the inside and decorate this direction. So I'm going to add first a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of white cardstock. So that's going to go on this big section here. So when you decorate a Z fold, the best way to decorate it is, from the inside out. So if you lay this in front of you and decorate each of these panels, then when you put it all together, you'll have a nice little Z fold. So these two panels, I'm going to add some pattern paper. So these pieces are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 inches. And again, I'm just using that smoky slate color. So it has this really fun little polka dot pattern. So we'll add this other piece here. All right, so that's what your Z fold card should look like with all the paper. And then I have all the little strips of paper cut out here. And we're going to start with the big ones first. So I found it's just easier if I started on this side and then worked that direction. So we're going to add our little strips of paper first on the white cardstock. So this goes right across the center. And then we'll add the red pieces around it. And you'll see why this is easier in just a minute. As soon as I get these adhered, I'll show you. So this time I'm just using the non-polka dot side. Okay, so there's our basic design. So now what I did, in order to continue that design all the way across the card, I'm going to turn my cardstock this direction so that it's facing me. And that way I can lay these pieces out on the card and match them up with the ones that I have here. So it's almost like you created just a little guide to ensure that all of your pieces match up and that they flow across the card. I hope that makes sense. So we'll just start in the middle so you can see my gray piece lines up there. And then we'll just add these red pieces on each side. So what probably looked like it was going to be a little complicated really isn't that complicated to put together. And then we'll just slide this down a little bit and do the same thing on top. So I'm just gonna add my glue here. And notice how I'm lining up this edge, the bottom edge of this piece with this piece. Now I'm eyeballing it, so And then we'll add this piece. And then that way you have a continuous flowing design all the way across the card. All right, I think we have it all. So that's the basic design. So then when the Z fold card closes, you can see that the design matches up pretty good. So, all right, so that is the basic part of the card, the backdrop for the card. So now what I'm going to do is just adhere. I have two pieces of two rectangular shapes here that I'm just going to adhere together. So I just used those stitched So Sweetly dies, and the dies layer together. So I just cut one from white cardstock, and then I cut one from the cherry cobbler cardstock. So we're just layering these together. And this goes on the front of the card here. So before I adhered this, I wanted to get an idea because let me bring this back. I have this adorable little donkey, the darling donkey, kind of peeking out behind this focal point. So before I adhere this, I want to kind of get an idea of where to position that little image. So I had stamped that image on a scrap piece of paper and then cut it out, colored it in, cut it out. So I'm just going to tuck this guy right here. So he's going to go on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the card without the dimensional. Just going to use some glue on this side. So remember, you're only adhering one side of this piece. The other side is just going to be free flowing. So give that a second to dry. So while I'm holding that in place, I will add the other adorable donkey. So I used all three images. There's three different darling little donkey images in this set. And so I used all three of them on this card. All right, so we'll start out, we'll put this one on the front here. Okay, that should be good. All right, and then let's open this up now that we have that image on there. And I'm going to add my greeting. They're all sticking to my fingers. All right, so we'll add this. Again, I just kind of cut these little pieces out. I need a dimensional. I cut these little pieces out by hand to create the greetings because I don't know, I just really like that look. I think it's kind of a fun look. So I'm going to add the little friend one here. So it says, "Hey there, friend." And then the third little image is going to go right here, right about there. So not only did, this design here, not only did that design run all the way across the card, but it kind of guides your placement of all these inner pieces too. So that's kind of fun. And you still have room to write if you wanted to write a message. And then we'll just put this up on the top. Okay. All right. So that's the basic idea for creating this card. And then of course you can go ahead and add your embellishments and decorate it. So let me bring back the other card since this one's all decorated. So I just added, some more twine and then added some little rhinestones here. So you have a really adorable card that says, "Hey there, friend. Hee-haw, you're the best." So really super cute. All right, so that's the Z Fold card. Let me bring back the other cards so you can see them all again. So these are the three cards that I created based on this one design. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you can see how you can take any card design that you have. So maybe you have a favorite card design that you like to use over and over again. Well, use that card design and then just add a couple little elements to it to change the look or change it up just a little bit to create a second card or even a third card. All right. So that's all I have to share with you today. I will be back again next week to share some more fun card ideas with you and kind of give you more sneak peeks into some of the new products that are coming out in January. And so, if you are not currently working with a demonstrator, I would be happy to send you the new catalogs that are coming out. So be sure to click on the link that I have in the description with this video. The link will take you to my blog where you'll be able to see or get more information about these cards and also find out how to request a catalog. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next week. Take care.